In today's video, you're going to learn about the 3 biggest New Year's nutrition mistakes that you can make. Hi, I'm Alexa, Sports Dietitian and Nutritionist. Welcome to my channel, great to have you here. So New Year's resolutions are super popular. Everyone and their dog seem to have one. And like clockwork, each year when the clock ticks January, everyone's talking about their New Year's resolutions, what they want to achieve, how they're going to achieve it, and denying the fact that they didn't achieve it last year when they set out to achieve it as well. So it's safe to say that people love having New Year's resolutions. But it's also safe to say that most New Year's resolutions aren't really that good. A lot of them fail. A lot of them don't even start off in the right way as well. And especially when it comes to nutrition, people do make some mistakes, some key mistakes, but easily avoidable that I'm going to share with you today. Now, these mistakes may or may not apply directly to a New Year's resolution, but they're nutrition mistakes nonetheless, ones that you should be aware of, ones that you should avoid, so that you can make your food game, your nutrition game, just that bit more easy for you when you kick off the new year. So without further ado, let class commence now. Mistake number 1 is cutting calories too much and especially too quickly. AKA, you can call this a crash diet if you want to, but you don't have to. This is basically where people go, oh my God.
An air duct. Oh my God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Okay, festive season, I've eaten all those foods and, I've maybe gained some weight and all this sort of stuff. They start stressing over the fact that they've eaten more foods. And what they do then is just cut calories, not only by a lot, but very quickly as well, in the attempts to lose as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible in January and February. Now, this is a mistake because there's no long-term focus, okay? It's just a short-term fix. Now, the issue with this is just that it's a bit too strict and it's also just a bit too hasty. It's just not going to align well with, what is sustainable, what is healthy, and what's actually going to make you feel relatively good so that you can actually enjoy life while you're doing it. And that's not to mention the fact that anything you lose super quickly, you can regain just as quickly because you don't build the pillars and the habits and the behaviors that you need to actually keep up with this result as well. Some food for thought. Mistake number 2 that you can make in the new year with your nutrition is choosing a fad diet, okay? Very, very common. People go, okay, what diet do I do this year? Last year I did this, X, Y, and Z. This year I will do ABC. Or something new and sexy comes on the scene and makes you feel like this is the right diet. Every single fad diet at one point was this new thing that you wanted. The keto was new at one point. Any general kind of low carb was popular, detoxes, all this sort of stuff. All these fad diets were new at some point, and you might fall for any new diet that comes along without thinking about, is this actually the right diet for me?
To be or not to be? Not to be.
But nonetheless, no matter which diet you choose, I'm just saying that with fad diets, that's something you want to avoid when it comes to the new year. And how do you know it's a fad diet? Well, that's where things become a bit tricky because some diets can actually seem pretty okay, and some diets might be okay for certain people in certain situations. So where do you draw the line? Well, just first ask yourself, what this diet gets me to do? Is this something that I can see myself doing relatively consistently over a longer period of time, maybe a few months or a year? If the answer is no, maybe it's not the right diet for you. And the second question is this diet overly restrictive for no good given reason? If so, maybe be cautious with it as well. But then the third thing you can do, obviously, is talk to a dietitian like myself. So, reach out and then we can help you. We can even work with you to make sure you implement the right nutrition program for you. And finally, mistake number 3 is not having a long-term goal. So I touched on that a little bit earlier when I mentioned the long-term focus, but the reality is that one of the biggest mistakes people make with their nutrition in the new year is not having that long-term focus. They just have that short-term focus and it's not actually going to be serving them in the best way possible. The main reason for this is that we underestimate how much we're going to actually achieve in the long term, and we overestimate how much we're going to achieve in the short term. As well as the fact that anything that's short-term focused will only go so far before you either give up, fail, or something comes up that makes it a bit too difficult for you. And that's just not the recipe for success. But the biggest reason is that real kind of robust change takes time. It is a long-term process. It's not something that's short-term, at least not for the vast majority of goals and for the vast majority of people. So statistically, you're going to be on the ones that will benefit from a long-term focus. So yeah, set up your goals, your resolutions, or your focus, whatever it may be, set it up for at least a bit of a longer term, not just for January and February, and think you're going to be the success story that you're hoping for. The likelihood that's going to happen is not likely, let's just say that. So there you go. That's the 3 kind of biggest mistakes, or at least very common mistakes that I want to share with you with your nutrition for the new year that I want you to be aware of. Now what I want you to do is I want you to comment below, okay? Comment below, let me know which of these mistakes have you made in the past, and feel free to also tag along a little bit there with what is your goal or your resolution, whatever it may be for this year. As always, hit the like button if this video has been informative, if it has helped you change your perspective, show it some love and hit that like button. Until next time, stay classy, have a good one, see you later, bye.